Hey guys!
Welcome back to Plots with a Twist, where we discuss books,
Amongst other things.
and today we have come to you with a combination video. So we are going to recap what we read for the month of January, as well as our TBR for this month, February.
All right, so let's get into it. All right, so how many books you read in January?
3. Girl, she wanna beat me so bad. How many did you read?
Okay, completed. I've completed 4, but I started 2 others. So,
Anyway, I got stuff to do. I don't got time.
but to be fair, like I said, one of them I started at the end of December, and then it went into January. So
Finished in January.
we'll count it for January, but I'm gonna count my other 2 for February since I'm finishing them in February. So, all right.
So you want to get started with the wrap up first from January?
Okay, January wrap up. You can start because you.
Okay, so together, as you guys know, if you haven't already, check out our last book reviews. But we read Recursion by Blake Crouch, which we thoroughly enjoyed, and we did a review on that. So if you guys haven't already, go ahead and check that out. We'll leave a link for that review down below in the description box. So you guys can already know what it's about, because I can't remember right now. What was Recursion about? So basically, it was about going back in time.
It wasn't about going back in time. Well, I guess technically.
Yeah.
It's about false memory syndrome.
False memory syndrome and going back in time, and we really just enjoyed Blake Crouch and his writing and his stories. So, because we also read Dark Matter last year, as you guys know. Then the second book, well, actually we read first, was Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I think that's how you say his name. We also did a book review on that, so we'll leave that for you guys. And that was one that we had a lot to say about that one and the plot twist and what went on in that book. And that book was basically about a woman who, a painter who ends up killing her husband, and it just goes on the story. It's told from the point of view of a psychotherapist who's evaluating that patient, and just has some plot twist and a lot going on. So if you want to hear our full thoughts on those 2 books, please check below, because we did do book reviews on them, so you guys can kind of see how we felt and get a real summary of the synopsis.
Okay, well, I'll go into the one I read that she didn't read. So the first one was Conviction by Denise Mena, and that was on Reese Witherspoon's book club list. So I think it was her December pick for 2019. So like I said before, when we was talking about what we were going to read in January, Asia sent it to me. I was like, okay, cool,
And
I'll get it.
Read it.
Right, and then the library ended up getting it in. So I was just like, okay. But it's about a woman. She's obsessively listens to podcasts. Apparently she obsessively reads books. And basically she has 2 young kids. She's married, and she kind of uses those things to escape. So it goes into, basically, she's listened to a podcast one day. She recognizes one of the names of the deceased, and when she's listening to it, she's like, I didn't know this guy to be this way. I wouldn't have pegged him as a guy to kill his family, yada, yada, yada. So she kind of goes into looking further into the story. She's having a breakdown of her family. Her husband's about to leave her and all this. So it's basically takes place over the course of like a day or 2, where she just drives to the places where she knew the guy, the place she used to work, where she met him, and just try to figure out what happened, like, on her own. So it was kind of complicated to follow in a way, and it was like it was written in a way where it was kind of like her telling her story. I will say it got off to a little rocky start. I wasn't sure where it was going. I wasn't sure I was gonna like it, but it was one of those where if you keep reading, the end kind of wraps up pretty nicely. So I did appreciate that about it. So I would give it like a 3.5-ish, because it was actually decent. But yeah, it was just I don't know, I have to read some of the other authors, some of their other books to see her writing. But yeah, I don't know. it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty interesting, but it's just the way it was
didn't
written.
grab you?
Yeah, it was just initially it was kind of like, okay, like I don't know, I can't really explain it, but it ended. It ended very like with a nice pretty bow. It's like, oh, the stuff inside might be whatever, but wait, the gift wrapping is cute. So I don't know. Is that a way to describe it?
No.
If something ends like nicely, it ended good.
Yeah.
I think it ended good. The road was rocky to get there, but the destination was pretty. There you go.
Look at you. Okay. Well, I'll get into the other one that I read, my third book from January, which was Shakti Gawain's Living in the Lights. Shakti Gawain, she wrote the book Creative Visualization. If you haven't heard of her, that's like her more popular book. But this book is basically like, it was basically, I want to say almost like a self-development, self-growth book, and basically kind of like guiding you to like living a more conscious life, like just with it, whatever that means to you. And I did like her book, Creative Visualization. I read that like years ago, and it's basically like about visualizing, like manifesting like the life you want for yourself. This book, I feel like it kind of just like reiterated that a little bit, but just without the visualization part. It's supposed to be, because the subtitle is A Guide to Personal and Planetary Transformation. And it did that, but this book had a lot of typos, y'all. Like, I was like shocked and appalled, because it had like a lot of like her editor, and I don't know like what edition, if she's come out with like, I think this says the newly revised and updated edition. So, and it still had typos. So that kind of like put me off a little bit, because no, like I need you to like not be missing words and punctuation and stuff like that. Little stuff, but it was like more than one. It was like at least like 3 or 4 that I noticed and was like, but so that kind of threw me off. But I did enjoy it. It's like one of those, I feel like, kind of like make you feel light and kind of gives you some things to think about introspectively, like how you want to like live your life and, you know, be a better person and do things differently. So I would suggest it for that. But yeah, the writing was a little, I don't know. And it also has like exercise after each chapter. It has like different meditative exercises for you to do, like, and things to write down, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do. I just kind of like read the book, you know? Because I was like, I wasn't doing that. I just wanted to read the book and kind of get like the knowledge or whatever she was saying and kind of apply different things to my life and, you know, what I'm going through, and I did that. But, you know, I feel like if you want to get the most out of the book, definitely like do the exercises. I gave it 3 stars because like the typos.
I think you gave it 2.
No. Did I give it 2? I think I gave it 3. Did I give it 2? I don't know, cause I was just.
Oh, she didn't like that.
I wasn't impressed. Like I wasn't impressed. It was good for what it was, but like I said, I just feel like it was kind of like a reiteration of the book she first came out with, like, girl. So yeah, that was the 3rd book that I read that I ended January with. So go ahead and get to your little 4th book.
My 4th book I read was Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but y'all know we butcher names at this point. So take it. But so that's the 2nd book in the Children of Blood and Bone series. I don't know if that's what it's going to be called, like the whole, you know how they have like the overall name of it. But just to briefly kind of go over it, it's a continuation of the first story where and it picks back up where the first story ended, maybe like a week or 2 after where the first story ended. And they brought back magic, and so but the ritual brought back magic for the noblemen and the royals, which they were the problem. You know, they were the ones who were enslaving the magi. They were the ones that were, you know, treating these people like dirt. So the fact that now they have powers and their magic is like innately blood magic, so it's naturally stronger than the magi magic where they have to say enchantments. It's kind of like, okay, this was done and we still are the quote-unquote weaker ones. So it goes into the journey of them trying to understand how the noble people or the royals got their magic back and what that means. And the royals trying to just snuff out the magi, period, because they can't have power. Because they're going to get greedy, when it's kind of like y'all are kind of like the greedy ones. So it's kind of like giving different perspectives on that kind of good versus evil conflict. And they just want to basically create balance back in the world and use the gifts that God gave them. the gods, their gods. Mm-hmm. So it's just a conflict of like them trying to protect themselves, them trying to like save the rest of their people, and yeah, just take down the establishment that is the royals and the monarchy or whatnot. So it was okay. Mm-hmm. I will say it was a page turner still. It was still entertaining, but it didn't have as much of like the pull as the first one did. But it was still good in that.
So you like the first one better?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, because the first one only one character was making me mad, and this one all of them was making me mad because I'm like, okay, it was like written in a way where they were intentionally set up to like ignore certain things or only criticize certain things, but not like be self-reflective, where the first one was a little bit more self-reflective, where I know what I'm doing is messed up, but this is why, versus what they're doing is messed up, so this is what I'm gonna do. And it's like, but what it just took away from like the inner dialogue that some characters have, that you kind of can see where they're coming from. I just didn't feel like some of the actions that some of the characters were taking were justified, and some of them were like borderline hypocritical. So it's kind of like that, but it was still, entertaining. So yeah, I will say it was still like, I want to get to the next one. I do want to know what happens, but it just wasn't as smooth, and I wasn't as invested with some of the characters as I was with the first one. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what we read in January.
January wrap up. So now we'll get into what we are going to read in our reading for February, for the month of February. And we have 3 books that we are planning to read like together. And then, of course, if we end up reading some other ones outside of that, we'll let you guys know. But right now, this is what we have planned to read.
We keep looking at a mic.
I know, right? So I guess we can start with this one, since the first one that we plan to read is Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And we have, we purposely picked Black authors this month for obvious reasons. And this coverage is so pretty. It's nice. So this one is like, I feel like a classic that everybody should have read. It says the classic of Black literature on the back, actually. And yeah,
but we haven't read it.
We haven't read it. Neither one of us have read it, and we felt like this would be a good place to start with Zora Neale Hurston, because I haven't read any of her works. Have you? Yeah. So, and it says, let me see.
And the thing is, I was supposed to read this in high school.
See, I never even was assigned like to this. And you know what's crazy?
I think I bought.
Let me just say this, because I had just started reading James Baldwin too, and I didn't even know who that was. First of all, he's from Harlem. That's where I'm from. I went to Frederick Douglass Academy in Harlem, and let me tell you something. Like, I didn't read none of these people. Like, I didn't read none of these books. Like,
we were progressive down here in the South.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, so this is one that we plan to read this month, and yeah, get into our Black classic literature bag. I'm not even sure like what it's about. A woman named Janie, so we'll get into it.
It's like supposed to be like the breaking down the roles of marriage, the roles of women, the roles.
Well, it says that she's fair-skinned, long-haired, dreamy as a child. Janie grows up expecting better treatment than she gets until she meets Tea Cake. Ooh, a younger man.
So it's gonna have some of those things of colorism, it seems.
Yes. I'm excited to read this.
We're gonna read it. Yeah, I'm gonna read it
with an open mind.
With an open mind. The next one for this month is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. So y'all, I'm sure y'all have been seeing this everywhere.
Because it's literally been everywhere.
Right. I saw it before it was published, because of course people got their advanced copies. So I've been seeing this since last year, even though I think it just came out this year. I want to say it just was officially published in January. I don't know. I don't keep up when things are published. But so this one is supposed to touch on themes of like, I guess like interracial relations. So not necessarily like relationships, but not like situations. But, yeah. And so it starts with basically this woman named, Alex and her black babysitter named Amira. And Amira is called one night to go and take the child to the grocery store, and while at the grocery store she gets accused of kidnapping the baby. So it goes into it's basically the fallout, I guess, of all those events. So really excited to read this, really excited to know what's going on, especially see what all the buzz is about. It's been everywhere. So yeah, such a fun age. Ready.
Okay, so the next one, last one that we're going to read together in February is The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's Coates. I don't know how you say
keep
his name.
saying Coates. That's Coates.
Is it Coates? Coates.
It's Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. Okay, The Water
Like
Dancer.
oats. Coates.
Okay. So, you guys probably seen this book everywhere too, because it came out last year, I believe, and this is his first nonfiction work. The author of
fiction
work. Between the World and Me, which I have. This will be the first book that we've read of his. Excited to read this one as well. It's basically about a young man named Hiram who is born into slavery and goes through the journey of like being born into slavery, then going into the underground. He has a gift that kind of is like helping him, and that he's trying to hone in so he can like help others in slavery and things like that. So I'm really excited to read this book because I've been wanting to read him for a while and haven't gotten a chance to. But what better place to start with his fiction. And we actually had a chance to go see him speak about this book, and we didn't take it, and I feel like kicking myself in the butt for that. But that's fine. He'll write some more, and we'll go see it. Night. Right. Yeah, we debated it and just didn't go see, but we should have. But anyway, yeah, so this is another one we're excited to read. Well, I'm excited. You excited to read this?
Yeah.
Read this one.
I thought I almost stole that from my friend because we went on a trip last year, and he had, and I was like, let me get that. And he's like, no. I was like, okay.
So yeah, this will be one that we're gonna read too. And I think sometime this year I'm gonna read Between the World and Me too. I'm gonna put that on my list to read. But yeah, so The Water Dancer. Let us know if you guys have read any of these books, what you think. And if you want us to, we're definitely gonna review some of them. But just if there's anything specific out of the three that you want us to review, let us know. So yeah, and you want to do like an honorable mention that we may read?
If we have time, we're going to go ahead and get into An American Marriage by
Tayari Jones or something like that.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
Something like that. I was like, oh, I forgot her name. Like I completely blanked. I was like,
I could see it in my mind, but I don't know how to pronounce it as per usual, so that's fine.
Yeah, so if we got time, we'll get into that too. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Wanted to provide you everything because we was late on it.
Yeah,
but
we were late with
we
our
still
wrap
want
up.
to let you guys know what we read and what we're going to read together.
Yes. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, let us know if you've read any of those books, your thoughts, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.